Hey guys, what's going on? Stevan Cyrus of SC Reports. I am back again with another stream, a little half an hour late, but I'm here. Nonetheless. What up, Rio? Welcome back. Um, Guys, obviously I said I'd be back. I want to talk about these rumors that were going around. Pascal Siakam was going to be the center of a trade, according to rumors, to the Oklahoma City Thunder to acquire not only Russell Westbrook, but Paul George. And this was supposed to entice Kawhi Leonard to stay. Um, and if we think about it, really, I believe it was used more so as leverage to get Kawhi, uh, to get Kawhi, his guy, Paul George, in the Clippers uniform, right? Because at this point, if the Clippers missed out on Kawhi Leonard, they were going to be the baby brothers for years to come because it would have been LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Maybe Kawhi would have stayed in Toronto. Maybe he would have joined the Lakers. Either way, the Clippers would be in very bad shape. So even though Sam Presti had all the all reasons to not give Paul George to the Clippers, he seems that he's such a good guy that he would still do that, right? So he kind of used the Raptors as leverage in order to get more from the Clippers. So maybe the Clippers were just going to give him 2 picks, but they kind of did try to do that deal with Masai to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit more to 5 picks. Because if we really think about it, why would Oklahoma City give up 2 superstars, not getting Kawhi Leonard in a sign and trade, to swap them essentially with Pascal Siakam, maybe a Kyle Lowry, maybe you throw in a Marc Gasol and picks for years to come. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And even so, do I think Pascal Siakam at this point is worth trading away? I'm mixed on that. I think Pascal is going to be an all-star. Maybe not this year, but definitely the year after that. He was amazing this year. Obviously, the most improved player of the year. He showed some all-star accountability. I think ultimately he might be an all-star this year. The East, unfortunately, got a little bit weaker. If Kawhi Leonard would have stayed, that would have really balanced out the NBA. We would have had Milwaukee, we would have had Toronto, Philly, and Brooklyn on one side. So we would have been 4 top heavy. And then we would have had the Lakers. We would have had Denver, maybe even Portland. They got Hassan Whiteside. That's a big pickup for those guys. And even back out east, you have the team like the Pacers, who did a very good job without Victor Oladipo. They had a pretty decent offseason as well. But obviously, I think this was a very confusing trade. Real McLevin, it's confusing. It does. It really is, right? Because if you're Masai, obviously, I feel like if Paul George, if you have a good indication that Kawhi Leonard would stay if you were to acquire Paul George, maybe you do it. Because Pascal Siakam right now, his stock is off the charts, right? But I feel like that's someone that we were going to definitely build around. And then you got to think about it this way, right? Paul George said that he would come to the Raptors, but would he stay? He would only have 2 years left. And ultimately, would he be happy in Toronto after that 2 years to re-sign with Kawhi to play for the additional 2 years with Kawhi in the East? Or would he just simply jump ship to LA or to another team out west? You know what I mean? It's very difficult. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. He's shown loyalty, but because he would have been traded, would he have stayed? He did sign that extension. I think we would have had Russell for maybe 2 or 3 years. I forget what his extension was. Um, I forget how long Russell Westbrook's extension was, but we would have had him for 2 or 3 years. So he would have been closer to staying with Kawhi there. And again, think about the package that we would have to do to get Russell Westbrook and Paul George here. We would essentially gut our entire team for Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. Basically, for 2 years, we probably have to give up a lot of draft picks, so we can't get any better throughout the draft for maybe a few years. You know, then you have to look at our bench. Would we be as deep? Probably not, because we would give up Pascal Siakam, we'd give up probably Norman Powell, Kyle Lowry, some sort of big deal, obviously, for two megastars. Um, and just coming off of a championship, we want to win more, and I want to win more, right? The most Canadian thing that we can do is just be content with the one championship and be like, oh, well, okay, bye, Kawhi. No, I want more after being basically a hockey town for so long. You know what I mean? Even though the Maple Leafs haven't done anything, right? They always run into the Bruins and then they lose. Um, so I don't know. And would we have the cap space for both of those guys? Because again, we'd have to sign Kawhi to the 4-year max because he said he wasn't going to do any 1 or 2 year deals. Then we'd have to take on Paul George's big contract for 30 something million. Then we would have had to take on Russell Westbrook's contract as well. He would have been another 30 something million. I don't know if we had the cap space. Like, we would have had to get rid of everybody. That's Marc Gasol, 30 million he's owed. That's Serge Ibaka's big contract. We would have had to get rid of Kyle Lowry, obviously, because of Russell Westbrook. Obviously, Kyle Lowry's not going to go to the bench. And again, we'd also lose Pascal Siakam. It's interesting. It's a very confusing and interesting trade. I think it was used as more so leverage than being an actual deal. Because if it was a deal, I agree with you, Rio. I probably would have taken that deal too. I would have done it. I would have regretted it down the line after 2 years when Paul George probably bounces from the team in Toronto to go to maybe LA or to another team that he would desire more so than Toronto. And then Russell Westbrook, he's a throw up, right? He might stay because of loyalty and not wanting to join a super team. So he might stay with Kawhi. Ultimately, would both of those guys be able to play together? Like I said, Russell Westbrook is very ball dominant and doesn't shoot a very good percentage. Even though I like Russell Westbrook, he plays hard as hell, and that's why I love him so much. Look at some of these comments. I want to see Oladipo on the Raps, though. Ooh, I would too. I don't know how we get him here and keep Siakam, though. I don't know how we get him here and keep Siakam. And I think Indiana is probably going to hold on to him for years to come. But that would be interesting to pair him with Siakam and maybe a Lowry. I don't know if it'd be enough, but it'd definitely be interesting to watch. Definitely rebuilding, though, for the Raptors. Yeah, I would have been his team. Right on that. I would have made the trade. I would too, on gut instinct, knowing that we could continue to contend. And obviously with a Kawhi, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, because we're already the 1 to the 3 is completely insane, right? Unless we go small ball and we shift Paul George to the 4 and Kawhi Leonard at the 3. But I don't think so. I think it would be literally Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, or Paul George in the small forward and shooting guard position, and then maybe a big and a center, right? It's very interesting to think about. I don't know, man. I would have done it on gut instincts, but I know down the line when Paul George in 2 years, he would probably opt out and leave, and maybe Russell Westbrook would do the same. But Russell Westbrook's pretty loyal. I think he would stay. It would have been interesting, though. I would have loved to just continue to be in contention. I feel like the Raptors are the next Boston when KG got his first ring. Yeah, those guys, after they got their ring, they tried to get back a few times. Obviously, all those guys were older and they got injuries across the board. Then they had to ship everybody out. Big three in Toronto, we had a chance. We did. I'm still, that would have been crazy. Jersey sales, are you kidding me? Instantaneously, I think right off the bat, basketball would be the biggest sport in Canada. If we were going to get Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard all on the same team, I don't care what the Maple Leafs do this year. Basketball would be the headline every single night, at least in Toronto. At least in Ontario, basketball would be the biggest thing in all of Canada. But unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen. Unfortunately, we're going to be rebuilding for probably a little while here. Unless, of course, we hold on to guys like Marc Gasol to the trade deadline and Serge Ibaka, and we look at some championship contenders. We say, hey, do you want a shot blocker? What are you going to give up, right? We try and steal some first-round picks. We try and get into this year's draft, right? Obviously, maybe we can get into the top 10, right? Maybe there's a team out there that's desperate for that one last piece, and we try and get a little more leverage. Obviously, right now isn't a good time to trade. I think when teams are going to get a little bit more desperate. Oh my God, Toronto would have blown up. Yeah. Oh yeah. It would be insane in Toronto. Oh my God. Man, I can't imagine the jersey sales. Literally, it would be hard to get a jersey. You would have to make your own jersey because we'd have to build a new stadium for the people that would come and watch basketball games. All right. It would have been wild. Trade Lowry too. Yeah, I'm with you, Rio. I think we do have to trade Lowry. I think we're at a point where we're not going to contend. Maybe we still make it. We can make it to the playoffs. I think we're still going to be as constructed now. I think we are a 6th or 7th seed. Oh, breaking news, guys. Breaking news. Stanley Johnson has joined the Toronto Raptors. The Stanimal. We don't get Kawhi, but we get Stanley Johnson. Oh, God. Oh, God, man. So Stanley Johnson has signed with the Toronto Raptors. I forget who he played for in college, but he's a good defensive player. Obviously, not really not huge on offense, at least what I've seen from some of his stuff in Detroit, I believe he was with. I haven't watched a lot of Stanley Johnson, I will be honest, but I know that he's known more for his defense than his offense. But we did need a small forward because Danny Green and Kawhi left, so we need some defense on the squad. Let's look at some more comments. Trade Lowry too. Yeah, just trade everybody that isn't Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and Norman Powell. This is why I'm kind of mad that we traded DeLon Wright. I would have loved to keep DeLon Wright for this very specific situation. I like DeLon Wright a lot. I think he was going to take over the mantle when Kyle Lowry eventually got old. He would have become the starter here. We need a statue of Kawhi. Honestly, I would do it. Obviously, there's a lot of people say, oh, you can't retire someone after 1 year or whatever. Dude, Kawhi did what Vince Carter. At one point, we had Vince Carter, Oakley, Tracy McGrady, all on the same team. We didn't win nothing. Like Chris Bosh, DeMar DeRozan, Andre Borgnani when he was good. For those first few years, Jose Calderon, all of those guys, we couldn't do nothing. Even when LeBron James had an old veteran team, still couldn't beat him with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Kawhi just came in and said, "Yep, let's get a championship. Let's go get a championship." And he did it. He did it, dude. Man, it's crazy. I would give him a statue. I would retire number 2. Honestly, I would do it this season. Like, he did what nobody else could do in literally one season. I saw a funny ass comment saying he won a chip and dipped. That's so stupid, but it's whatever. Claw logo. Oh, that'd be hilarious if we changed the Raptors logo to the claw, even though he wasn't on the team. I knew it. Oh, there were reports before saying that Stanley Johnson was going to come to Toronto? I didn't even know that. He ain't even all of that, even though he can D. Oh, damn. At least we have another defender. You know what I mean? I don't even think his 3 ball is that good. We just lost a lot of shooting. In Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, we lost a lot of shooting. I'm actually very disappointed. And because we waited so long for Kawhi's decision, a lot of the shooters are off the board right now. Like I said, we're kind of stuck. We could keep the team as is and maybe get to a second round. Maybe not. But at the end of the day, without Kyle Lowry having a sidekick on the offensive side, it's time to blow it up. Like you said, trade Lowry, trade Serge, trade Marc Gasol, try and get as much picks as you can, because I don't think you're going to get even if you put Mark and Kyle together, I don't think you're going to get a Bradley Beal. I don't think you're going to get a Victor Oladipo from Washington or the Pacers, unless you can get a young guy like that, bring him to Toronto to pair with Pascal Siakam. Just get as much picks as you can in the first round with these guys that you have. And hopefully within the next 10 years, we can get back to contending. Rio. I think DeLon would have looked good at the finals. Yeah, I think he would have been amazing. I think he would have been a great job on Steph Curry. Made him work even harder, right? Kyle Lowry did a pretty good job, but even DeLon is younger. He can move faster, and he's more lengthier. His length would have been crazy on Steph Curry. I think he would have done a fantastic job guarding Steph. You think Kawhi gonna win that next ring with the Clippers? Yeah, I do think so. I think they could probably do it next year, to be completely honest. Like I said, he waited a long time. The Lakers, they missed out on some good free agents. Anthony Davis sacrificed $4 extra million with a trade kicker because they really thought they were going to get Kawhi Leonard there. And according to so many sources, right, that's another video I should make. How important are sources really? Because according to we're out of it, the Clippers were no longer the front runners. You had Chris Broussard saying no chance Kawhi Leonard's going to go to the Clippers. Everybody was saying to the Lakers or the Raptors. He went to the Clippers, guys. But even Sam Presti is stupid, because if you're going to trade Paul George, try and get a guy like Lou Williams. Try and get somebody. He basically did the Clippers a favor. He's getting Gillis Alexander, Shai Gillis Alexander, who I've heard very good things about. I believe he's Canadian as well. But again, he's a good prospect, going to come up with Russell Westbrook. And you trade Danilo Gallinari? That's all you ask for Paul George, and of course they get the 5 picks unprotected. But again, the Clippers have everyone they actually needed. They didn't trade anybody that would actually hurt them. They have amazing defense. They have Patrick Beverley, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. That's clamps. That's clamp city. Are you kidding me? Paul George, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi Leonard have all been touted as the best two-way players in the league, and the Clippers have 2 of them, with Patrick Beverley, who is a dog on that end. There are going to be some nights the Clippers are possibly going to hold teams to 70 points, to under 80 points. Like, there are going to be a few nights like that this year. Plus, they still have Paul George, who's coming off a 28-8 season. Kawhi Leonard, who's no doubt going to have himself a season. They have Montrezl Harrell. They have Lou Williams off the bench, who can easily go for 25 himself. The Clippers have everybody they need. They brought in Maurice Harkless, who was a solid player, serviceable starter. I don't know, man. These guys can definitely two-peat, because who can the Lakers bring in now to stop that? They're not that deep. They got LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kyle Kuzma. Anthony Davis gets injured every year for at least a few games. That will definitely affect their positioning for the playoffs. But I think that the Lakers will load manage Anthony Davis because they know that he can't play a full season. But yeah, I definitely do think that he's going to get a ring. If not this year, definitely next year. They're in the driver's seat for a championship. I think they're my favorites right now, because they didn't have to give up anybody like that really hurt that squad. Where do you see the Raps next year? At the playoffs? You think we're going to go past 3 rounds? Nah. It depends. I think if we keep the team as is, we are still a playoff team in the Eastern Conference. I think possibly anywhere between 6th, maybe. I don't even want to push 5th, because we have to look. Well, actually, we might be able to squeeze in at 5th, because we have Boston, who would be better than us, because Gordon Hayward will be better. Gordon Hayward will be better this year. He's got a whole off season to get ready. You have Kemba. You still have Jason Tatum. You still have Jaylen Brown. You still have everybody, right? There is the Milwaukee Bucks. Even though they lost Brogdon, they bring back Chris Middleton. They're going to be all right. They're going to be better than the Raptors. Still have Philly. I'm not as sure as everybody is about the Al Horford deal, to be completely honest with you guys. I am not as certain as everybody else on the Al Horford deal, but they're still better than us. The Pacers are going to be pretty good, and then I think Toronto can be right there as constructed, but I think we lose ultimately in the 1st or 2nd round. Yeah, I didn't care because all they wanted was Kawhi. Yeah. Why didn't Clippers didn't get Westbrook, but want to give up Westbrook to Raps? Currently, I think because ultimately they were happy with Patrick Beverley, right? Russell Westbrook in a Clippers uniform would have sounded good, but ultimately, I think the Clippers want to go team basketball, and I don't think that's what ultimately would happen if Russell Westbrook were to sign with the Clippers. Uh, he would still do Russell Westbrook things with Kawhi and Paul George instead of kind of going in the team aspect. Um, you know, so I think ultimately that would have been a good deal for the Clippers. I think holding on to Patrick Beverley would have made so much more sense for these guys because now they're defensively locked in. They have a point guard that knows his role and is going to get Paul George and Kawhi Leonard the basketball and play defense. That's all he has to do. And these guys are in a better position because of it. Russ should go to a playoff contender. Oh, welcome back, bro. Yeah, he should. I don't know where. If it's not Washington, like you said, with some sort of John Wall, Russell Westbrook package, I don't know where. Because what team is going to take on Russell Westbrook? He plays really hard, but sometimes he plays you out of a basketball game. And I'm saying that as a Russell Westbrook fan. I love the way he plays basketball. I love the fact that he plays so hard, but ultimately it hurts him at the end of the day. You think Russell Westbrook's going to Miami? I think Miami and Washington, like you said, those are the two top teams I think I would trade him to. But what assets? I think the Wizards would be the front runner for that because you can rebuild around John Wall. Obviously, John Wall's contract, he's going to get paid $40 million. You'd wish that he had a better jumper, but at least John Wall would be more team oriented and he likes to pass the rock. It would be a little bit easier transition from Russell Westbrook to John Wall rather than trading him to the Heat for Dion Waiters or somebody else, right? So Washington, I think, is a front runner for Russell Westbrook. Chris Middleton would look good for the Raps. I agree. I would have loved to see Chris Middleton with the Raptors. I think he's one of the better shooters in this free agency. He also plays defense. He plays hard. The Bucks were good, were smart to keep him on. I don't know if he was worth the max, but you got to do what you got to do because you lost Brogdon. You had to keep Chris Middleton. If you lost both of those guys, Milwaukee would have went to a very dark place, and they would have lost Giannis when his contract is coming up in 2021, I believe. 2021. That's when his contract's up. Russ should go to the Wizards. Trade Wall, another starter, and a draft pick. Scott Brooks loves Russ. He said Russ is the best point guard in the NBA, and Scott knows how Russ plays. That's true. I think if anybody knows how to team Russell Westbrook, it's Scott Brooks. Everybody else seems to have a problem or an issue with Russell Westbrook, but I think Scott Brooks is the only one that can kind of reel Russell Westbrook in and try to get into his ear. As you've seen, Donovan Mitchell can't do that. And that's why, ultimately, Paul George felt that he had to leave. And to anybody that's coming to the stream or watching this after the stream, if you're new here, subscribe, like, do all that good stuff. Thanks for stopping by. John Wall needs to join Boston or Miami. Yeah. Well, he's still on contract. He's still on contract. I think John Wall is 2021 like Giannis, so he can't move for a few more years. He signed that crazy extension that the Wizards gave him. It'd be interesting to see Russ with the Pelicans as well. But we need another star to be a playoff contender. Fan, man. Can you imagine if Anthony Davis stayed with freaking Zion Williamson? That would have been crazy. But yeah, the Pelicans are in a great place right now. I like the Pelicans. I think in 2 or 3 years when Zion blossoms, if Lonzo Ball can be what we all think he can be, with Brandon Ingram, hopefully those clocks aren't as bad as people are saying, and he can develop into a 20-point scorer. Oh, the Pelicans are going to be nasty. Like, everybody thinks that Anthony Davis going to the Lakers was good. No way. The Pelicans are stacked with some good talent, right? They still have Drew Holiday. They got a lot of good pieces. But Russell Westbrook, in a Pelicans uniform, that could be interesting. He can kind of hold it down until Zion develops. If he can find a way to play more team-oriented ball, that would also be extremely crazy. But yeah, John Wall to Boston or Miami, I think that'd be a good look too. But they got Kemba now. That should be pretty good. Donovan Mitchell? Oh, you mean like the Thunder trade Russell Westbrook for Donovan Mitchell? And Russell Westbrook is in Utah? That'd be interesting. Utah is a sleeper, guys. They've had an interesting offseason as well. They got Mike Conley, I believe. They got some good pieces over there in Utah. I actually have to look. I can't remember who signed with Utah, but they have an interesting team that can be a sleeper out west. Big up yourself, bro. Always have to, guys. Support independent content creators, man. Who knows? One day, maybe ESPN. Who knows? But I love doing this. I love talking with you guys. It's always interesting to see everybody else's takes, and this is fun. So subscribe for more. Pels would look good with Russ. Yes, they would. I wouldn't disagree with that. Two monsters like Russell Westbrook and Zion that play hard as hell on one team, that'd be crazy. Now you said Donovan Mitchell instead of Billy. Oh, Billy Donovan. Oh, damn, my bad, bro. Thanks for the correction. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, Billy. Bro, that was a mix up. My bad, bro. Thanks for catching that. I always want people to do that because obviously I'm always open to hearing other people's opinion. I think that it's always a good idea to hear the other side, whether it's politics or sports. It's very important to not be closed-minded, especially in sports. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's ever definitive. Everybody always sees a different angle. My angle might not be the same as yours. You might be able to see something more than I can see. That's why I think it's important. I've been subbed. Done no real. Thank you, bro. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. I know I don't upload a ton. Like I've always said, I got 2 jobs. So it's always crazy for me. I have a crazy ass schedule. I used to live stream on my phone, but YouTube took live streaming away on your phone. I have to have 1,000 subscribers now before I can live stream on my phone anymore. So you guys know what to do. Subscribe. Yeah. You really think Stanley gonna do something for us? Nah. I think he's just filling up our roster spot. I think he'll do some good stuff for us defensively, but ultimately we're in a situation where we're not in championship contention. If we were in championship contention and Stanley Johnson signed on for a short contract, then yes, because he would bring more defense to us. But just signing Stanley Johnson after losing Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, he's not much of a shooter. He's not going to do very much on that end of on the court for us. So ultimately, outside of defense, in a team that's probably going to be 5th in the East, 5th or 6th, what are we really going to do? All right. And I know some of you guys are going to think, well, Washington's still there, so they might be fifth. Washington always disappoints. So I've always put Washington at the top, and they've continually disappointed me every single year. Even though they have such a good lineup and a good cast, they always just seem to blow up. So yeah, I'm not going to put them at the top of the list anymore until they actually prove that they belong there. Let's see. Zeno for sure, yeah. I think Steven Adams is a great player, but he can't shoot mid-range shots and threes, which made OKC struggle from long range since they only had PG that can shoot threes. So the opponent, yeah, that's true. That's true. And OKC has known this for years. That they, for some reason, they always get great defensive players, but for the love of them, they do not pick up shooters. And I don't understand why. Right? If you need to in a system with Russell Westbrook, you have to have shooters surrounding him. And with Paul George, they need shooters. They need to stretch the floor, or else they become predictable. They're either going to ISO Russell Westbrook or Paul George. It worked to a degree last year, but again, Portland bounced them with that crazy shot. I was actually in Mexico when that happened. I was watching that in Mexico when that actually happened. Holy, that was insane. I Stanley is the next Moose. Needed to guard him, which makes it easier for the opponent. And who are you talking about? Oh, continuation from previous comment. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're talking about. To continue, this is a continuation from the Paul George comment. Yeah, with the Steven Adams Paul George comment. Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying, bro. Yeah, they became way too predictable, Oklahoma City, and they've tried to implement a system, but ultimately they fall into that isolation cheese. And I'm telling you right now, if you couldn't do it with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, you weren't going to do it with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Plain and simple. You think Rodney McGruder would look good for the Raps? Rodney McGruder. Huh. I haven't heard of him. And that's why I like you guys. You guys always have some guys I haven't thought about, but I will look into Rodney McGruder. And maybe we'll talk about that at a later date. But I don't know who Rodney McGruder is. If OKC had Kyle Korver this season, they may have won this playoffs. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think everybody knows out west, even though the Clippers did effectively have Patrick Beverley and they pushed the Warriors to whatever games, those guys are a good team. But Oklahoma City was the best defensive team out west last year. The stats support that. They were the best. All they needed was more shooters. And if they had a guy like Kyle Korver, like you said, obviously they weren't going to get a guy like JJ Redick. He was with Philadelphia. But Kyle Korver is a guy that usually gets passed around a little bit. So if they had a guy like Kyle Korver or a sharp shooter, I think they could have won. I think they would have beat Portland. It's because they become so just their system, right? They're so easy to read. Without a shooter to kick out to, you know that it's going to be in Russell Westbrook's hands or it's going to be in Paul George's hands. But I agree. I think Oklahoma City would have gotten at least to the finals. Um, you know, bearing any setbacks, depending on if they were in the finals, with if they were in the place that Portland was to get to the finals, and they had a 7-game series without Kevin Durant playing, oh, they would have definitely won. They would have definitely went to the finals. I think Toronto might have still had a good chance, but it would be a close series if it was Oklahoma City and Toronto. Um, he's in Miami. What's your thoughts on Hernandez? Oh, what's his name? I think I know who you're talking about. I forget his first name. He played a little bit for the Knicks, right? But then he had a little bit of a breakout year with the team. I can't. Oh, super busy. So the second round. I think we're good. Yeah, a big guy. Out of the University of Miami. I'm gonna have to watch some of his tape. I'm gonna have to see how he fits in with Toronto. Um, like I said, I've been super busy. I'm gonna definitely catch up on a lot of basketball over these next few days. I actually have next week off work, so I'm going to do. I'm gonna make so much videos next week, guys. It's gonna be crazy. We're gonna do some winning losers. We're gonna do some predictions for next year. What I think ultimately Toronto should do. There's just gonna be so much done next week. Tuesday to Friday, I'm off. So expect a lot of videos. Expect me to be a little bit more versed on guys like Juan Hernandez, who we did pick up. Um, it's going to be really good. I'm going to do some live streams. I'm just going to do some regular videos as well, because I know asking people to continue to come back to live streams, it can be hard. Because again, you guys have lives too, and I understand that. That's why, whether it's one person or 5 people that show up, I'm happy as long as we're talking ball, right? Um, Jeremiah Grant Ferguson shot 28% in the playoffs. How can OKC win? Correct, right? Those guys might be able to play defense. Well, Jeremiah Grant can play good defense. Tony Ferguson cannot. And you were expected to come in, shoot a high percentage, and do your role. They didn't do it. That puts more pressure on Russell Westbrook to make shots we know he cannot make from the outside. And that puts a lot of pressure on Paul George, who's already averaging 28 points. What else do you want from a guy like Paul George? I can't for those videos. Oh, you work nights too, bro? I work nights too. I work at the Pearson Airport. Yeah, Monday to Wednesday, I'm usually working nights. And then I switch to days, Thursday to Friday. But yeah, bro. You work at nights, so do the videos in the night. I work Tuesday to Friday. Okay, cool. I can try and do that. Um, I work days on Tuesday and Friday, but I might miss it if you're doing it in the day. Okay, I'll consider that. I don't know my schedule. I might be busy during the night, but I will definitely upload the videos if I'm not doing a live stream at night. Maybe I'll schedule it for an 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock upload. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock upload. because I actually have work at 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna go short shift. But yeah, I gotta get out of here soon. It's 2 o'clock. Holy crap! I got work in 2 hours. Guys, thank you so much for coming by. I'm gonna take these last few comments before I go. Thank you guys for coming back to the stream. I appreciate you guys. Anybody that watches after the stream, if you point guards, bro, I didn't even take that in. That's actually true. This man's played with Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, and now he's gonna play with Kyrie Irving. Who's next? Campbell Walker in Boston? His next chapter. Geez, that's actually true. This man always goes where there's a good point guard. I were close to where you were close to where I live. Oh, say word. You're close to Saga? Nice. I heard it's pretty good up in Saga. I heard Brampton's wilding, but Saga's the nice middle ground. At least that's what I heard. I don't usually spend a lot of time out in Saga. If allowed, bless up, bro. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming by. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, bro.